Hi, I'm Matt Rinaldi, Chairman of the Republican Party of Texas. I'm here to talk to you today about how to become a delegate at the Republican State Convention and why it's important to become a delegate at the Republican State Convention. First of all, why would you become a delegate? You become a delegate because once every 2 years, the Republican Party gets together in order to choose the top issues that it advocates for, to choose the members that represent it, and to choose how the party will conduct business for the next 2 years. We have a series of committees that get together before the convention in order to pick what we're going to deal with during the general session that comes later on in the Republican Party of Texas convention. 3 of those committees I want to highlight for you because they deal with issues that affect what the party does for the next 2 years, perhaps more than even the other committees. The first committee I want to highlight is the Legislative Priorities Committee. You might have heard that the Republican Party of Texas has legislative priorities, and you might have heard about your representative and how many of those legislative priorities they advocated for. Well, those legislative priorities are chosen at a particular point in time, and you might wonder who chooses them and where are they chosen? Well, they're chosen at the Republican Party of Texas convention every 2 years. The Legislative Priorities Committee narrows them down, brings to the floor a set of legislative priorities, and then the delegates to the convention vote on what the legislative priorities are going to be. Second committee that I want to highlight is the platform. The platform is a committee that develops the platform document, presents it to the delegates on the floor, and then the delegates then approve the platform and make any changes that they see fit on the floor. So ultimately, the delegates to the Republican Party convention choose what our platform says. It chooses the issues that we decide to take positions on as Republicans. And that's so important. You may take it for granted that we actually have legislative priorities in a platform, but a lot of states don't. Our Republican Party of Texas is fairly unique. For example, Florida doesn't have a platform. They don't have legislative priorities. We do, because we're a party that means something. We're not just a cheerleading society for anybody with an R behind their name. We're a political party. We're a group that coalesces around a certain set of principles, ideas, and values, and that's very important. The third committee I want to highlight is rules. Again, we are a political party. We coalesce around a set of principles, values, and ideas. And the rules govern how our party operates from year to year. And that's so important because we are a private organization. We are not governed necessarily fully by statute, by the government. We are an association of people, and we get to choose our members, who associates with us, and how we operate from year to year. And that happens in the Rules Committee, which governs how the Republican Party and county parties to some extent operate over the next few years. The next thing that we do at convention is elect our party leadership. Officers are elected at the state convention. Every 2 years, the delegates choose the State Republican Executive Committee members that represent their particular district. Also selected at the state convention every 4 years are your national committee man and committee woman. Your national committee man and committee woman are the board members for the Republican National Committee, which is the National Republican Party. The convention also chooses the national delegates and alternate delegates that will attend the national convention in July, where the RNC rules and platform are passed. One presidential elector is elected by each congressional district caucus at the state convention. When our nominee for president wins the state of Texas, those electors will then meet in the Electoral College in December to cast their votes for the Republican nominee for president. And ultimately, the Electoral College, with electors chosen from each state, are what elects the president, as you know, and not the popular vote. Next, I want to talk about how to become a delegate. It's very important that all of you become a delegate to the state convention. Why? Because the establishment is going to want to pick as many delegates as they can to the state convention so that they can have a platform that reflects their values, so they can have legislative priorities that reflect their values, and so they can elect party officers that reflect their values, which is why the grassroots needs to show up, and they need to show up strong to the convention. How do you become a delegate? First, either on primary election day in March or shortly thereafter, I would check with your county party. There will be precinct conventions where delegates to the Senate District Convention will be chosen. attend those precinct conventions. Then show up to the nominations committee at your Senate district or county conventions and tell them you want to be a delegate or an alternate to the state convention. They will come up with a slate of delegates and alternates to the state convention. Make sure you are on their list, and that list will be passed at the end of the Senate district or county conventions. Once you're in the state convention, each congressional district caucus at the state convention can choose 3 delegates and 3 alternates to the national convention this year, which is going to be in Wisconsin. And that's how you become a delegate or an alternate to the state convention or the RNC convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is a gathering of thousands upon thousands of like-minded Republicans across the state of Texas. We're there to network, we're there to plan, and we're there ultimately to come up with a plan as to how we will win election 2024 and reinstall a Republican president in the White House and retake Congress, and retake the Senate, and keep Texas very, very solidly red. Thank you. I'm Matt Rinaldi, Chairman of the Republican Party of Texas, and I appreciate your time.